History is filled with figures whose names are whispered in fear, men whose actions led to the deaths of millions. Today, we're delving into the stories of some of the deadliest men to ever walk the earth. This isn't about glorifying their actions, but about understanding the immense power and catastrophic consequences that can result when that power is unchecked. Let's start in ancient times. Genghis Khan, the founder of the Mongol Empire. In the 13th century, he united nomadic tribes and launched a series of invasions that stretched from Asia to Europe. His military campaigns were brutal and efficient. It's estimated that his conquests were responsible for the deaths of as many as 40 million people, which at the time was over 10% of the entire world's population. Cities that resisted were often completely annihilated, their populations massacred. The scale of this destruction was so vast it even had an environmental impact, causing a period of global cooling as huge areas of farmland returned to forest. Yet, within his empire, he established a written language, fostered trade along the Silk Road, and even granted religious freedom. It's a stark contrast, a unifier and a destroyer, all in one. Jumping forward several centuries, we encounter Timur, also known as Tamerlane, a Turco-Mongol conqueror from the 14th century. He saw himself as the restorer of the Mongol Empire. His ambition was matched only by his cruelty. Timur's campaigns across West, South, and Central Asia were infamous for their sheer brutality. He built pyramids out of the skulls of his victims as a warning to others. In one instance, after capturing the city of Isfahan, he reportedly ordered the massacre of 70,000 of its citizens. Historians estimate his military campaigns caused the deaths of around 17 million people, about 5% of the world's population at the time. He was a brilliant military strategist, but his legacy is forever stained by the rivers of blood shed in his name. Now, let's move into the 20th century, an era where technology amplified the scale of destruction to unimaginable levels. First, we must look at Adolf Hitler. As the leader of Nazi Germany, he orchestrated World War II in Europe by invading Poland in 1939. This single act triggered a global conflict that resulted in an estimated 70 to 85 million fatalities, making it the deadliest conflict in human history. Beyond the battlefield, Hitler was the architect of the Holocaust, a systematic, state-sponsored genocide. Approximately 6 million Jews, along with millions of others including Romani people, Poles, Soviet civilians, prisoners of war, and disabled individuals, were murdered in concentration and extermination camps. His ideology of racial purity and territorial expansion plunged the world into darkness and left a scar on humanity. The T will never fade. His name has become synonymous with evil itself. On the other side of that same devastating war was Joseph Stalin, the dictator of the Soviet Union. After rising to power in the 1920s, he launched a series of policies that would lead to the deaths of millions of his own people. His program of agricultural collectivization led to a catastrophic famine, particularly in Ukraine, known as the Holodomor, which killed millions. He also initiated the Great Purge, a brutal political campaign to eliminate dissent. Millions were executed or sent to the Gulag, a vast network of forced labor camps where many perished from starvation, disease, and overwork. While his Red Army was crucial in defeating Nazi Germany, the cost was staggering. Historians estimate that Stalin was responsible for the deaths of at least 20 million people through executions, famines, and the Gulag system. He ruled through terror, paranoia, and absolute control. Next, we turn to Asia and Mao Zedong, the founding father of the People's Republic of China. He ruled the country from 1949 until his death in 1976. Two of his major initiatives had catastrophic consequences: the Great Leap Forward, an economic and social campaign from 1958 to 1962, aimed to rapidly transform China's economy from agrarian to industrial. However, flawed agricultural policies and the diversion of labor led to the Great Chinese Famine, the deadliest famine in human history. It's estimated that between 15 and 55 million people died of starvation. Later, he launched the Cultural Revolution, a period of violent social and political upheaval aimed at purging capitalist and traditional elements from Chinese society. Millions more were persecuted, publicly humiliated, imprisoned, or killed. The total death toll under Mao's regime is a subject of debate, but it is widely considered to be the highest of any leader in history, potentially reaching as high as 70 million or more. Finally, we have Pol Pot, the leader of the Khmer Rouge regime in Cambodia. Though the numbers are smaller compared to the others, the sheer proportion of the population he eliminated is horrifying. Between 1975 and 1979, his regime sought to create a completely agrarian, classless society. They forcibly evacuated cities, abolished money and private property, and executed intellectuals, professionals, and anyone suspected of ties to the former government or foreign powers. The combination of executions, forced labor, malnutrition, and poor medical care led to the Cambodian genocide. In just 4 years, an estimated 1.5 to 2 million people were killed, which was nearly a quarter of Cambodia's entire population. The country's killing fields are a chilling testament to the regime's brutality. His vision for a utopian society turned his nation into a mass grave. Studying these figures is a grim but necessary task. It reminds us of the dangers of absolute power, radical ideology, and the dehumanization of others. These weren't monsters from a fantasy novel. They were men who, through a combination of charisma, strategy, and ruthless ambition, committed atrocities on a scale that is difficult to comprehend. Their stories are a vital warning from history, a lesson in what can happen when we fail to stand up against tyranny and hatred. It's crucial we remember these events, not to dwell in darkness, but to ensure that such horrors are never repeated. Thank you for watching. If you found this exploration of history valuable, please like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the events that have shaped our world.